All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how to export out a JPEG and a PNG file. Now, JPEG by default is a compression file we know about. A PNG file is a portable networks graphics file, which is a new file that's used in a more efficient way inside of websites to make the websites be able to load quicker. So that's what that purpose is. Now, when we get into here, we click export. We're just going to go ahead and export out the same image I did previously in the DNG example. And so you will notice that there are already 4 presets in here for doing exports. The first one being JPEG, with a small size for the web, which is basically 2,000 pixels across. If you select that, you can take a look at it and what it's doing. It's creating an sRGB image, which is the color space of the internet, 300 pixels along the long edge, but realistically this should be actually set differently. This should probably be set at 72 because the internet does not have a lot of resolution. So we'll go ahead and do 72, long edge 2048 pixels. And then we can go ahead and, or we can leave it at 300. Realistically, we'll just do that. So the internet is basically 72 dpi, but if we're doing 2048 at 300 dpi, when you basically look at that, it ends up being around 72 dpi. You can also go in and have it respect the crop and do sharpening for screen by default, because you're going to be putting on the internet. That's a good way to sharpen it. You could put in watermarks if you want, but you probably want to do that after the fact. So if you grab the preset, you click the box. Now we're going to go ahead and be using this. Then if you wanted to go in and put in a watermark, you could go in and say text or image and pop this box up like this. You put in the text here. Option G, 2018. Sorry about that, guys. So right now you've got this watermark dragged across here. We can go around and adjust the scale of this. You can also move where its position is. So for example, let's scale it smaller. We'll move the horizontal of it. I'll put the D back into Sean McDonald. And then what I can do is then do the vertical, and I can drag it and have it like laying across the image. And if you don't like how dark it is, you can always pull down the opacity. So this is a way to put images out there that are copyrighted. So that's basically how that works. And this is how you would send out an image, either a proof copy, you could save copyright and proof copy, or you could be doing this for the web. But this is up to you if you want to do the watermark. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back to none. Now, you'll notice that there is not a PNG export. So to create a PNG export, we're going to go ahead and while that is selected, I'm going to click here. I'm going to go ahead and say duplicate the recipe. It's going to create a duplicate down here. I'm going to go ahead and call this a PNG with the same settings. Then I'm going to go into here where it says what format do I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and choose PNG. And once again, I can keep all this the same, and now I've got a PNG for web use. Now, once I do that, I'm ready to basically go ahead and export these out. But let's talk about a couple more of these. Here's a full-size JPEG, depending on what your purposes are. Sometimes your client needs a full-size JPEG. It's not being used for the internet. Maybe it's being used to print. Maybe it's one of those things that's a downloadable that people could print, or it's being sent to labs, or whatever the purpose is. You also have the Instagram optimize, where it creates the optimized output so that you can post this in Instagram. So if you're a social media person marketing stuff, you can basically do that. And then once again, quick proof, where if you click on quick proof, it gives it makes the image like a really small image, like a 3.5 by 5. You'll notice it actually got smaller in the viewfinder here. And once again, it's being exported out. Oops, I chose TIFF. That was bad. proof copy. So I chose proof copy, sRGB 300 pixels, 300 dpi, dots per inch or pixels per inch ppi. And then also the format is JPEG quick proof. So let's go ahead and click that one too. So I've got all three of these ready to go. They're all going default to the desktop, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that as is. And we will go ahead and click this, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it actually exports these out. We don't even get a status bar that stays up very long, unlike when we were doing the Photoshop files in the TIFFs. And then if I go to the desktop, that I've got the JPEGs here, so each one of these is a little bit different. So for example, this is the regular full-size JPEG. This is the probably the lower resolution one, and then this last one here is the here's the PNG that we were talking about, and just some random TIFF that I actually exported in this same group. So there are all the files exported out. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and you'll notice the sizes are based on what's going on here. So that's good to go. So there's exporting as a JPEG.